is my best fossil selection. I've been interested in paleontology for most of all of my life, and I'm also interested in paleo art, so a little paleo art piece I did, a little stop motion model of a baryonyx. And this is my best of the best fossil collection. Now, starting off with the oldest material from the Eocene, which is like 40 million years ago, we got some nice little pond snail gastropods here. Now, this time during history, the Isle of Wight habitat would have been similar to the Florida Everglades. So these little guys would have been in these like big swamps eating lots of plant material. Now moving on to the Cretaceous, I've got some various fossils from Compton Bay as well as Shanklin Beach outside the Dinosaur Isle Museum. Now if you look here, you've got some nice fossilized wood that looks like you could have found it in the woods today. It looks like just regular wood. If you didn't hold it, it feels like stone, but just looking at it, it just looks like regular like charcoal or something like that. As well as here, we've got some nice bivalves here, very well preserved, as well as a section of probably a razor bivalve there. Now, onto the most exciting material, we've got the dinosaur bones here, most of which are a bit worn, but this one here is more complete. So here you can got the honeycomb structure indicating that it's definitely bone, as well as the coloration. And here you see this actual surface of the bone. So you can maybe get a bit of an idea of what bone this comes from, maybe like a rib bone or a part of the tail vertebrae. As well as, most interestingly, these slightly worn but still cool looking iguanodon teeth, which feel like real teeth. They've got a nice shine to them, a bit like ivory, and some of which still have their cutting edge, or what iguanodon gets its name from, meaning iguana tooth, which are these little ridges that go up, which they're designed to slice through plants. So I think that's amazing. As well as a potential seed. I'm not sure whether it is a seed, but it was found amongst lots of plant material, like the wood, so possibly. Now moving on to the Jurassic. Now most of this material was found, of course, on the Jurassic coast in Dorset. There's certain from sites such as Kimmeridge and Charmouth and Lyme Regis. So here we've got some nice bivalves, very big one there, as well as some nice shiny brachiopod and some devil's toenails. As well as here we've got some cephalopods, like this is really nicely preserved ammonite, which has got some nice little sort of gnarly sort of things on its shell, as well as these belemnites and other mollusks such as these sea snails, which are very tiny but still very well preserved, as well as a potential marine reptile bone fragment here. We're not sure where that one's from though. Now moving on to the oldest part of the collection was the Devonian. Now most of this stuff was found in my local area, such as St Mary's Bay and Churston Cove, as well as my own back garden. Like this one was found in the slates of my back garden. That I think is pretty cool. So over here we've got some crinoids. Now in modern times we call them sea lilies because they're still alive today. And here we've got their nice long stems and little sections of that. And they look like plants, but they're actually animals, similar to these pieces of coral over here. Now, these would have made up a large sort of ecosystem similar to the Great Barrier Reef, but during a time of a warm, hot, shallow sea. So the UK's climate would have been similar to that of the Bahamas. And you can see here, in my reconstruction, what that maybe would have looked like. And that brings us on to what I'd like to put forward for the museum collection, which is a straight chambered nautiloid or orthocone. Now I like to put this forward just because it's not your usual fossil find you find, especially in the UK, and you find in a museum. And also it is very old. A lot of this stuff here is 2 times older than this thing. And you can see here what it would have looked like. It would have looked similar to like a nautilus, but with like a uncoiled shell. So I think it's very interesting. You can see here, even though it's so old, you can still make that shell out here, and you can see all the ridges, and it's solid stone, but you can still it's preserved those little details. Now, for those reasons, is what I'd like to put this forward. Thank you for listening.